All right, so let's just settle into our meditation posture. And I don't know, I had a very productive day today. So, which started at 5:30 in the morning here. So I'm getting ready to kind of collapse now. Oh, what happened there? All right. So this is very sweet to be able to do this practice with you all. I appreciate very much. Okay, so let's just settle the mind. However it is you're turning up this evening, just know that it's totally fine. And you might notice that you're a little bit different than you were yesterday evening when we started our meditation. Maybe you had a different kind of a day. Maybe you have ongoing stressors in your life. But just check where you're at and then just be okay about it, because it will change. There's a lovely saying, this too will pass. So you can check your feet. So really get a sense of the soles of the feet on the floor and the toes and the knees over the ankles and your sit bones, shoulders aligned with your hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And now just relax the body from the crown of the head all the way down. And just really get a sense of everything, just letting go, but not collapsing. You're just releasing all these kind of tense muscles. And then just get down to your toes. Take a nice deep breath. And just become aware of the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And this sensation of this air, you can maybe notice it at the entrance of the nostrils. The rising and the falling of the chest and the rising and the falling of the belly. If there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them with the mind. And then come back and just notice what's arising in the mind. And then try not to judge those thoughts. And you can categorize them if you like. You can sort of say to yourself, well, that's an angry thought. These are a bunch of angry thoughts, sentences. Oh, now I'm wrapped up in a story. And it's very interesting because as soon as you acknowledge that or recognize that, you draw attention to it. And don't follow it, but you just become aware of it. Sometimes it just dissipates. So try, if you can, I know it's difficult when you're in the middle of a story, to just put these thoughts on a nice white fluffy cloud and just let them float off into space, or a little white lotus, something beautiful. And then we put ourselves on the bank of our river and just notice the river as it flows on by. We can just watch it. And again, take notice of what the quality of the water is. Is it clear, muddy, rocky, swift, quiet? And just know that while you're sitting on that bank, you're free from the river. So thinking of the people of our life And, some of us have lost friends in the last couple of weeks. So we can bring those people to mind. Venerable Palmo and Chosang for me, and Oral's friends, maybe some of you others. Some people in this room are either unwell themselves or have relatives who are unwell. So bring those people to your mind, and bring our loved ones to our mind, and the ones we don't like to our mind, and then our strangers. And then just remembering they can all change place at any time. And they're all, however, the same as you and me, despite our feelings for them. We might really love one person that other people just think is just horrible. And this person that we find absolutely awful has a mother somewhere that thinks they're the most divine thing since sliced bread. So, our views and our opinions are very unstable and very much dependent on our karma and our delusions. And then think they're all the same as us in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. And we'll do this meditation for all these people and for all our ones who have passed or unwell. So we think there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind so we can equally create positivity instead. And we do this by applying the 4 opponent powers. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from the present suffering we don't want it, so logically it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and that has 2 sections, refuge and developing compassion. So in the refuge one, we're relying upon the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine, his methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. And his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. So here the arms are kind of open, but it's kind of, the right hand does appear to be on the top, holding the Vajra. The left is closest to the body, holding the bell. And they're being crossed symbolizes this connection of infinite wisdom, infinite compassion, this idea of enlightenment. the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. So in this first section of reliance, we take refuge in a Buddha. And in the second section, we're developing compassion, and we need to rely upon other beings in order for that to happen. So we need other beings in order to develop compassion. So we need to have something someone, something, some being to develop compassion for. And so this is a wish for someone to be free from suffering. So we can also think of those people who've harmed us, and because of the harm they've caused us, they're going to experience suffering in the future. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And the next is a purification of your speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sapa A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room and switch on a light. The light in that room is instantly dispelled. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness and anger and violence and depression and resentment and jealousy and all instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sapa A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sapa A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the cause of our own suffering and why we harm others with our body and our speech, imagine these are completely purified, they're gone, they're finished, and think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And you can imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as we recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hompe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve. And again, a very crucial part of this process is for anything to happen, we have to make a decision. If we want to walk out the door, we need to say to ourselves, I need to get up and walk out the door. It's not going to happen automatically. So anyway, you've come along here tonight with this intention of doing this practice, and you've engaged in it, and you've done the mantras, so that's a start. And so then we have to think about things that we don't really serve us or others, maybe that we have a habit to do. So we just think about trying to get on top of that. And we think of some kind of timeline. It could be like just as little as a couple of seconds, if that's all we can manage, or maybe even a day or overnight. So think of something you'd like to work on, and maybe I was talking to people a while ago about journaling. Maybe write down. It's fascinating to see where we're coming from and where we're going to. So think about that as well. And imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So a little bit about emptiness. You can imagine in emptiness there is no I, afraid of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, you can just try and place your mind there for a little while. We think of all phenomena as being empty, they don't exist from their own side. And let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. It's so beautiful, whoever did this. It's really lovely. Okay, for Rinpoche's swift return, the lamp of the Gaiden teachings, the supreme refuge Lama Zopa, has departed in order to rouse the Dharma disciples who cling to permanence. Supreme Being, you took upon yourself the Kadam teacher's way of life and were bound to it night and day, greatly benefiting the teachings and transmigratory beings. Great Master of the teachings, Supreme Guide for East and West, Hidden Yogi, Lama Tupten Zopa, unrivaled Lama Zopa, you took His Holiness, the Sovereign Lord of the Victorious Ones, as your crown and followed his instructions. Benefactor Lama Zopa, for the many public and personal needs of Tibetans and others, you opened the vase of resources and cleared away the suffering of hardship. One of great mind, Lama Zopa, you held helpless and voiceless animals with a mind of loving kindness and were their holy savior and protector. Siddha Lama Zopa, Lord of the ocean of mandalas, with the wings of emptiness and compassion, you crossed the waters of the generation and completion stages. Lama Tupten Zopa, great hidden yogi, ornament of the activities of the Gaiden teachings, in truth a great son of the victorious ones. Having thought of me and other transmigratory beings of the degenerate age, from your seat of lotus and sun at the heart of Sangwa Yeshi, may the jewel that fulfills all wishes, emanating again with the brilliance of 10,000 suns, smile swiftly and without obstacles to our eyes filled with tears of faith. Lama Ursel Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe-Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. And there's Kathleen.